Hi guys, welcome to Rubaru session. If I'm audible, please say yes in your comment section so that we can start with the today's Rubaru session. Welcome everyone. Today we have Mr. Aditya Varma on Rubaru session. Welcome Aditya.
Hi man, hi, how are you, Abhishek? Thank you.
So you might have seen his work. I'm not sure if you've seen his face. I think today you'll be seeing his face and behind the cameraman who created wonders with the cameras. And he's one of the cinematographer whom we all love to watch, and he's one of those youngsters who's been creating some amazing content out there for the world to watch. So welcome again, and please introduce us yourself so in a brief manner so that we can all get to know about Aditya Varma.
Hi guys, how are you? I'm Aditya Varma. I'm a cinematographer based in Bombay. I've been shooting a couple of good things, and I've done things like Cold Mess, Sage, Namde Bao the film, and Kia and Cosmos. I'm very happy to be part of this live session. Let's continue with the session, and let's all have fun for next 2 hours.
Yes. So first question I would like to ask is how did it all start? So before I take any questions from the audience, they'll be asking the questions in the comment section. Before that, I would like to ask how did it all start? Like how did you come into this field?
Like cinematography or photography or like both?
Okay, so just talk about your journey, like how did you start and then now where you are.
So honestly, Abhishek, like I come from a very small place called like Tirupati, and I've always been like very fond of photography as an art form, and also like I always wanted to get into films. So I think that was the first like point of my getting into any kind of art field, and because the place did not have much of material for me to like study or like understand, I didn't know the exact path or exact route to take. So what I had to do was like I had to follow a lot of stuff on internet, and back then there weren't too many YouTube channels. It was like YouTube was quite young and nascent. So like I literally had to like read a lot of like articles and stuff, and I personally did not have a digital camera as such. Even when the shift had happened, I had like old Kodak film camera which I used to click pictures and all. And because like I had to like keep the number of pictures I shoot to very minimal, and that also helped me like keeping it to only important frames or important things. So actually that helped me like framing or lighting or all these things a lot. But from there, slowly I went to Delhi to pursue my postgrad in accountancy, like financial accounting diploma. And there I met like really few cool photographers, and as soon as I went there, I like everything got back and everything hit back. And yeah man, like in Delhi I pursued, like I assisted someone as a photographer, like as an assistant fashion photographer, and I bought my first camera, the DSLR, after like when I was 26, and that was my first first camera, first time I'm actually trying video in any camera. So because the camera had video, so it's a DSLR, and I started shooting from there for myself a lot. Kept shooting. I started making short films for like literally for myself, like writing myself, shooting myself, and like shot by myself, editing, color grading. So it all started about like 7 years back, and from there it just kept rolling. I kept shooting stuff for myself, and I was pursuing my photography. Like after foreign, I had a serious relationship, and I had a breakup. And after that, I had to shift to Bombay because I always wanted to pursue cinematography seriously. And I came to Bombay, and then I met these really cool people at Jugaad, and my life just changed, man. So from there, everything just slowly started. Yeah.
Great. So today, like one of the youngest cinematographers who have achieved this kind of level, we can say in the industry right now. So I think because of the entire team, as you said, the one Jugaad Motion Pictures and the people you met, I think that is also one of the part which
in Jugaad Motion Pictures, I am the oldest. So my producer is 27 years old, my director is 28 years old. All the people, all the writers are less than 25. My director in Baate Karo, Pranit, is 25 years old. So literally, all of us are like I'm the oldest. So I don't know if I am the youngest cinematographer as such. Because we have one more cinematographer building. Her name is Supreet in Jugaad Motion Pictures. And she just got her breakthrough in the music industry. She shot for like this really cool artist from Europe. And it's live right now. So it's like all of us are growing together. So it's a great thing. Like as a group, we are able to find each other and then grow as a team. So it's actually
great.
And it's just started, man.
So we also have Saurabh with us. As I think.
Hi, Saurabh. How are you, man?
I'm good.
I've been
Absolutely
good. About you, your name, I literally could just see you. So I'm so happy to see you, man. How are you?
I'm good. Absolutely good. It's really very nice to see you here. We have been waiting for this session for long.
Yeah. So people who like follow Ruburu sessions, there is no introduction for Saurabh. He's been there in all sessions helping us out. And Saurabh, please go ahead and play the first video of Aditya so that people get to know what kind of work he does if they have not already seen it. So yeah, before by the time we move on to the video, I would like to add Aditya. Like the first question would be the same everyone has been asking, I guess. Like, what is your daily routine? What do you do from morning to evening?
Oh, okay. Is it for this lockdown or before the lockdown or generally?
I think before the lockdown is better now, so that after the video we can come back to the quarantine time.
See, honestly, completely my routine depends. See, as a cinematographer or as a filmmaker, just generally, you don't have so much of luxury. Like, this is something I've been trying to tell people, like, to be flexible, actors, they have a particular routine. They can't miss. Like, say, for example, as an actor, he has to have 8 hours of sleep. So we have to go according to their routine. Or like, say, for example, sometimes others who need a lot of time, like art people, they need a lot of time to set up. So at that point, as cinematographers, we literally have to be Superman. Like as a routine, like say, for example, if there is a shoot, then we literally wake up at 5 o'clock before the sun rises, and then we have to go to the set, check all the art, everything or whatever. Like, it all depends on where we are shooting. Like, literally, it all depends on where you're shooting. And you go to the set, and by end of the day, your whole petrol is down, and you literally are like, it's about like 7 or 8, if it's like a 12-hour session. By 7:30, you get free from the set. And as soon as you go back, you don't actually take rest. You literally go back to the rushes. You see how the things have come up for the day. And people like me, Dheer and Da, we actually are, while eating, we are always checking rushes. And it's like one of the best times of our lives. Because like for us, the best satisfaction comes not on the final product, but especially when we shoot and go back and just see rushes. Because literally the whole thing that we shoot comes down to either 2 hours or like say 3-4 minutes for the music videos. But we shoot a lot, right? We shoot a lot, and there are so many cuts and so many emotions, so much we see. So we love to actually see rushes, and then like that's our like best time of our time. So we never miss that part where me, Dheer, Dar, or like whoever I'm shooting with, go back home while eating, we see rushes, and that's like the best feeling ever because we see every single thing. And yeah, man, I think that's just great. And then we put things on copy. If there is DIT, it's great. Otherwise, I have to put everything myself. So literally, I have to go back to sleep at 2 o'clock and then again wake up at 5. So if it's a shoot day, so that's the kind of routine. And sometimes I forget to eat. See, honestly, when I get free time, I sleep a lot. because I need to like catch up on things, and I also like try and work out, stretch, try to be as fit as possible for the work, like for the days of shoot. And you need to be like really flexible, man. The kind of demand, the kind of like competition we have today, you need to be a Superman. There's no other go.
Cinematographer pay the most sometimes because of all the gears you handle, and yeah.
Don't even ask, man. Like literally, sometimes I feel like there's no back after the end of the day. Like I don't even have a backbone. I'm literally just like numb person. I'm just like walking.
I think that is where Fuji helped you a little bit.
No, of course, I was just gonna come to that. I was saying like thanks to Fuji, like now things have gone so light and like this. So yeah, man. It also
Talk the gear after some time.
Yeah.
So Saurabh,
Let's pick the
ready?
video.
Okay, cool. So we'll talk about the routine, which is where you used to sleep around 3-4 hours max when you have shoot days, and now you have time. Like that is what we talk about. That there is a lot of time to just chill around and relax. But I'm pretty sure that is not the case for you. So what has been like post quarantine, like after the lockdown?
See, definitely, it's been a little tough for me because like this is the time where I'm supposed to be in my hometown. I unfortunately was doing recce on the last day of the before the shutdown, so I wasn't able to exit from here. So I'm stuck in Bombay, and I couldn't go back home because right now my parents need me then like ever, like the most than ever. But it's fine. Like so now, my routine is more like I shot a short piece called bird watching recently.
Yes.
So that because of that, my whole routine got messed up because I had to be up for the sunrise. So I was like up till like say 7:30 in the morning, and then I had to sleep, but had to be up for setup and everything by 3:30 to see the sunset. So like that kind of messed up my routine. But now I'm back because now I'm actually doing like kind of physiotherapy sessions with my father on phone early in the morning, like when he wakes up. So so it's kind of got better. So like my sleep has got definitely better. But otherwise, Pranit, my director, has just he wrote a really interesting piece. So that we are shooting through iPhones from like far off. So we are getting to do the setups. We're trying to like do things properly. So we are busy with that, and yesterday only we shot like one really important like part of the piece or a part of the film. So yeah, we are constantly doing a thing or two, man. Because like live sessions, I've done like 3-4. I've been shooting things for myself. Like I've been shooting time lapse for something that me and Ritika, my like partner, have been writing something. So like constantly we're shooting something or the other. And you wouldn't believe I've been trying to capture this the whole day to night time lapse from like last like 3-4 days. Something or the other goes wrong. So like because now I have a lot of time, I'm able to like redo things and like I'm able to do like again and again, because you don't have second chances when you're like not in a shutdown scenario. But otherwise, to be honest, this is a great, like I shouldn't say this is a great time. It's definitely a mixed time because the people who got affected by it will only know the pain of it. Yeah, so for us, like I see like people like going like full power, happy with like how their life is. That definitely like helps people elevate their emotions. But we need to also be like quite empathetic at this moment and try and understand it's not like a holidaying out for all of us. It's more like revisiting ourselves, and also at the same time, you don't have to be like keep seeing news or like being like melancholic or being sad all the time. It's more like just be busy with something or the other. And there's so much to do, man. Like literally for me to cook, it takes like 6 hours, cook, clean, and do all that. So I'm also enjoying that a little bit. So
I actually want to concentrate on a few parts of the story you told now. So before that, there's a lot of people commenting. सो आज का सेशन हिंदी और इंग्लिश में दोनों में होगा. हम लोग थोड़ा मिक्स करेंगे. अगर आपको सवाल हिंदी में पूछना है तो प्लीज सवाल हिंदी में पूछिए या लैंग्वेज लिख के उसके बाद सवाल पूछिए, सो दैट वी कैन आंसर इन दैट पर्टिकुलर लैंग्वेज. And also Aditya is from Tirupati, so he's a fluent Telugu speaker. మనం తెలుగులో కూడా మాట్లాడుకోవచ్చు. ఎవరైనా తెలుగులో మాట్లాడాలంటే తెలుగు
నేను ఇంతవరకు ఎప్పుడు తెలుగులో చేయలేదన్నమాట. సో ఐ థింక్ దిస్ ఇస్ ఆల్సో a good place to start with that.
Yeah. So there's 3 languages we can speak today, but I'm pretty sure there's one language we can agree on that English will be a little more easier for everyone to understand in the common ground. But हम लोग हिंदी इंग्लिश में ज़्यादा बात करेंगे आज. So yes sir. So the next question is, you mentioned that you're shooting from iPhone as a story part right now. So I think that is one of the gifts we had as online and the video calls we are doing. I think that is where we are also able to come up with online sessions and communicate with so many people, and that is one of the advantages we have right now. So how are you doing this session? A little more light on that. Like, how are you shooting a video from phones, or how are you directing or cinematography?
So honestly, the thing that we have, see, again, it comes down to basics, right? Like what works, what for, like say any kind of story. So according to the piece, like it's a little comic. Like what we are doing right now is a little comic. So I wanted to be more bright. So what I have control from here is literally their clothes and how they look and how the light is falling on them. So literally I'm controlling all those things that I can, and also at the same time how their movement is, because we can't move the camera from here. I can only do it in the post a little bit, punch in, punch out, but literally we are making them do like left, right, this, that and all that. But honestly, like it's also very new for us. Like we just realized like how important it is for an actor to look into the camera, not on the screen, because the eye line just becomes so difficult for the audience to connect. So I was just like, we were just talking to Pranit about it. I thought I'll just mention this here, because we literally had the entire day's shoot gone because of just that. So maybe people who are shooting like any of the pieces, it's a great tip where you actually make your actors literally keep them around the eye, like what do you call it, the camera. So I think that will help them.
I think it's the same way. People have told me that I always look a little bit down when we are doing online session.
Because you're looking at yeah, that's how we're used to it, and I'm very glad you're on the exactly like left of my screen, so that I'm like right next to the camera, so it's perfectly fine for me now. I guess so. But
so, but yeah, the one thing you mentioned is that as a cinematographer, you have complete control over the camera, right? You know how to go around and shoot. Sometimes it will be fixed. Sometimes it might be handled, where I'm pretty sure you shoot a lot of handled shots. So in this phone, how are you trying to do in this particular life like scenario? Like how are you guiding the cameras?
See, one thing is definitely we need to come up. See, obviously this is going to go for a long time. This is a special situation. So all the pieces that we are trying to come up right have to be relating to this. So it's much more easier. Like say for example, whatever Pranit is writing, whatever our people are writing, they're trying to fit into this time, right? They're trying to be relevant to this. Like that's the most important part. Like more than my job is the writer's job, is the director's job to come up with stories like this where it should be relevant. I can't just you can't just expect a like I don't know, like a spy film or like some kind of a action film out of. So you can still try and do it when you have cameras and stuff, but one most important thing is the camera needs to be static. Camera needs to be needs to feel like it's there, and also the piece, right? Like the writing of whatever project we're doing, that should be the most important thing, and it should feel like it, like everything, man. Like everything in cinema, like whatever we use, like handheld, hold, it should always be relevant to that particular piece. I think that's the most important thing. Like if it's not relevant, that's when you see, oh, cinematography is great, but it just doesn't fit to this subject. It just doesn't fit to this particular thing. So I think that's something like all like cinematographers, filmmakers, they all should talk about, because why some videos just connect so well with people and some don't is because like why so many people got connected to bird watching was this, because it is literally about the relevance and how everyone could like empathize with it, how everyone can like be with it or feel with it. So that's something that is very important as a writer. You guys like have to come up with things like that. But at the same time, we have a lot of control. We think like as a cinematographers, we are like obsolete at this moment. Absolutely not, because like I was also thinking like, what is my job when I'm actually doing with Pranit and everything? There's so many things, man. There's so many things. One, definitely another eye for the director to be there on the set, like to be there on the con call or whatever. And two, you can definitely control a lot of like movements and things like that, and you can decide on how the light is coming. You want the direct window light, you want one-sided window light, you want them to switch on tube lights, you want them to be closer to the lights. You can control most of the things, and also like there are times when you want the person to be holding the camera and just moving along with it. So you can design a shot like that. So definitely there's so much as a cinematographer you can do even at this moment. But even if you don't get to do any of these things, you can literally shoot monotony, what's happening around you inside your house. Or like anything, man. Like literally shoot yourself, write a piece. Like it all comes down to basics, man. And that's it. That's always and also like as human beings, no matter what is our situation, we've always created art. Like some people were stuck in jails for like years together. They wrote art. Like they painted. They did hundreds of things. They carved. So many things people have been doing, and we always come up with one or two ideas. So like it's not that difficult. It's just like part of our lives, You cannot keep me like not touch like my camera. You can't keep me away from my camera. Even if like say for example, if I'm on the deathbed, take a shot or something like I'll always be hooked, man.
I think that's very well said, that there is no boundaries or walls that can hold an artist. So before that, I think the video is ready. Saurabh will be playing the video, and after that we'll move on to the questions.
जरा डोक्याचा वापर करा तुम्ही. कुठे तिकडे डोंगरावर जाणार? आता तुझे वडील बघ संन्यास घेतात, शांततेच्या शोधात चालले. तू काय हो, तुम्हाला काय मी जाडी वाटते का? दिसायला काय चांगली नाही का मी? फार सटकलाय तुम्ही.
साइलेंट वाले जा रहे हो ना? आप भी मेरे गेम का हिस्सा हो ना? ये रेड कैसल, यहाँ मुझे पहुँचना है। नाना मुझे लगता है मैं लौट जाना चाहिए। आप मेरे साथ गेम क्यों नहीं खेलते? मुझे भी शांति बहुत पसंद है। आपको लगता है हम सही रास्ते पर? हम सोएंगे किधर? तुम्हें और कितना टाइम लगेगा? हम कल शाम तक वैली पहुंच जाएंगे। आपकी वैली आ गई और मेरा कैसल भी। मैं तो सिर्फ ये बताना चाहता था कि आपने मेरा टेस्ट पास कर दिया है। आप मेरे साथ चल सकते हो बस। ये लो आ गया आपका साइलेंट वार्डिंग। मेरी मम्मी ने आपके बारे में भी कुछ लिखा है। Find a safer companion to travel, और वो आप हो।
Yes, I think everyone saw the beautiful work that you have done. It's fun because I've seen the behind the scenes and the story about this Namdev Bhav and how it all started. So we'll talk about more on that. Before that, that we'll be taking questions from comment box as soon as we finish the questions we received on Instagram. We'll move on to the Instagram questions and then come back to this live questions. So the next question is, I think that is most important for us, and people also. It's one of the, I think, frequently asked question is that what gear do you use? Like, what is your gears? What are your gears, and how do you shoot and all those things? So put a light on that.
See, right now I'm gonna bring in Fuji a little bit. This is my main main camera right now, at least for all the small pieces and where I don't need to shoot raw video, and where I'm great with like 10-bit video or like 8-bit video, or like most of the stuff that I've been shooting lately. Even bird watching, like 80% of it I shot with this Fujifilm X-T3, and like coming to like other stuff, it literally depends on like what the like say for example, sometimes the production house comes with this particular requirement saying they want RE footage or they want red footage, so that is where you can't actually like push too much to the client that, oh, okay, I want to shoot with this. But it all comes down to how or like what is more effective for you for that particular job. Again, comes down to this, Abhishek. Even in my workshop, I mentioned this, I stressed this 10 times. It is literally about like what is good for that particular job. And over a period of time, I have like gathered like 3-4 cameras, so I'm actually using whichever one what I need. But for me, more than the cameras and stuff, like what am I comfortable with that particular thing? Like say for example, he was supposed to play, like he was almost playing Hold Tight, the video that is going to play next. Like we literally had any choice to use, right? Like we had already shot Cold Mass, we had already shot things. We could have easily chosen anything there is, you know. But I particularly chose X-T3 because the amount of shots we had in Hold Tight, because they were copies of like the actor. Like we had to do like split screen, we had to do like multiple layers of thing. So then I thought like it's very important to have like mobile setup, especially with X-T3 that you get like literally my setup was like mostly these two, this camera and this lens. So literally the setup is so small. So yeah. So it all depends on what is good for the job, man. I think I can't like completely say, oh, on my next job I'll be able to use this particular equipment or this particular gear. But right now, I think X-T3 is my major player. I hope I can get my hands on X-T4. It all depends on when the whole shutdown thing goes on, and then because my only thing that I ever wanted, I wasn't even like too excited about the flip out screen. My only thing was stabilization. Like if IBIS comes, man, I think this will become my super horse, because that is one technology that writes off this small setup, right? Like say for example, all these small cameras, why people don't use it too much for handheld is for a reason, because there is this micro jitter because of light cameras. Like because these cameras being too light, it's also a problem. When you do with cinema camera, there is no micro jitter. It's like slow, like you know that it's a handheld shot. But with like small cameras, it's micro jitter. What IBIS does is it actually negates those small jitter from the footage. But I have already shot a lot of handheld footage with my X-T3, because the rolling shutter on like the sensor readout is really fast and the rolling shutter is really good. Like I recently shot one small promo piece for Aperture. I actually shot entirely with handheld with Fujifilm X-T3 and 16mm f1.4 lens. Yeah.
Yes, I think the important 2 points you mentioned is, one is that it has X-T4 has 6.5 stops IBIS, which is remarkable, which we don't have in other. We don't have a competition for that right now. And the second thing you mentioned was the less rolling shutter. I think that has to be mentioned because all the cinematographers don't stress on this point. When they pan the cameras, there is a rolling shutter issue. So I think that is one of the important point you mentioned, that X-T3 and X-T4 has the less rolling shutter in other competition right now. So yeah, I would like to ask the follow-up question is I think many people want like to know kind of lenses you use. What is your go-to
I
lens?
actually kept all the lenses beside me, so I actually can show like see my major layer is like see it also again comes down to what is your preference for focal length. My preferred focal length is 50 mm, like 50 mm on full frame because like I love how I can get a little bit more when I shoot portraits, especially when I'm shooting human subjects. I kind of love 50 mm because it also has a good it also has a good separation and it also gives a little bit more of a background, so I think so I kind of like this lens like 35 f2. This is a really good lens because it's small and it's really like it's one of my favorite lenses on Fuji because it's like absolutely sharp. The like so many people like so many people don't like the bokeh that it gives, but I love it because it kind of like it's not so like it's quite organic. The circles and all are really good, so I kind of love this. And also the next lens I use a lot is the 16f 1.4. Like especially when you're doing on gimbal work and stuff, it's so cool. And the amount like you can go so close with this lens, so you literally like can get like 1:2 macro size things. So it's kind of amazing. But I also use one adapter which I wanted to show audience today. Is that like this adapter? It's called Fringer EF to FX Pro, which actually lets me use other third-party lenses like say Sigma lens and stuff. So I kind of use a lot of this 18 to 35 lens. This actually is a great range for, especially for cinematographers, because there are a lot of times where you want to be quick. Like the whole reason why you want to use a camera like X-T3 or like a small camera is to like to have some like good range and then be very quick at job, especially for documentaries or like say, especially for something that like that needs you to be on the go. So then like the adapter works seamlessly, and I'm so glad nobody actually talks too much about this. X-T3 can adapt all kinds of Canon, Nikon, or like all kinds of lenses, and that's a great thing, man. Like honestly, I'm very glad with this thing. And also I have this 100 mm macro lens, and I use a lot with my X-T3 for like those B rolls or like really tight macro shots. So yeah.
I think,
but for portraits, like one single lens, like everyone should definitely try is like 56 1.2. Like especially for video, like for me, like for photos, I kind of like 35 mm for portraits, but like for videos, this is really good because it gives you like it's a landscape image, right? So then the 56 1.2 gives like you can actually go back and shoot, and it's kind of really good. Only one thing is, I hope Fuji comes up with the next generation of the whole 56:1.2 and the 35:1.4 for the video people. So let's see, man. Let's hope.
you have beautiful set of lenses. I think those are the lenses we also suggest for cinematography.
Yeah, we want to actually mention that, like for people who are like into wedding photography or like people who want to travel, especially, this is literally what you need, man. Like literally get like X-T3 with a grip, and for X-T4 now. So with 16 mm f1.4 and 35 f2 and 56 1.2, I think literally that takes care of like from 24 to 85 mm focal length. I think mostly you'll be great with that stuff. But again, like if you want to go further ahead, then you have like 90 mm macro and stuff. But like for now, like these three are a great combination. So I think you can definitely start up with this. And especially for wedding, I know because they want to have those details, but at the same time want to show the whole setup. Then I think 16 mm 1.4 is a great kind of shot. Like you can shoot that rings, or you can shoot those hands, or like close-ups, but showing with the background a little bit. So I think that would be really great.
16 mm is one of the sharpest lens I've come across, and you also mentioned
this is Fuji's lens. I have not given them back. I don't know. I'm not planning to give it back. Let's see. No, man, I'm just kidding. After shutdown, I luckily got it before the shutdown, so you guys have not taken it back. So it's good.
That's fine. So I was talking as in like you mentioned the converters as well. So
Yeah.
Fujifilm always been open to other third-party accessories. It's because we give freedom to photographers and cinematographers, right? We don't bound to any particular lenses we have, and that we don't do that. So I think in that manner, many as photographers and cinematographers appreciated that with the converter, for temporary use at least we can go and beyond shoot. Yeah, Aditya.
So one more thing I wanted to mention, like someone actually asked me like a couple of days back, what is a good lens for a cinematography setup for a feature film? I kind of recommended them. There is one 18 to 55 T2.9 cine lens. I think that one lens is unbelievable. I shot a lot of shots in hold tight as well. So I think that gives you a great flexibility, like great range again. Like it is actually better than my Sigma lens, because if you have budget, man, I think that one lens is great for like, especially for cinematography. Now imagine that with X-T4, man, everything changes. Like everything just like changes now, because you have stabilization and also you have the range. So it's great.
We'll talk about this particular lens as soon as we finish the behind the scene video of Hold Tight. So yeah, I was talking is like 16mm is one of the sharpest lens, and you have the 35 lens, and you have other lenses which makes your life easier as a cinematographer. So I was telling that third-party accessories are available with Fuji, so you are free to use any lenses. But as we say, native lenses are the best for the quality. So he mentioned Fuji non-cinema lens. So 1855 lens, which you mentioned, it's a pure cinema lens, which is manual lens. So we'll talk about that. Saurabh, we'll go ahead and play the Hold Tight video. Okay, so we have a few minutes before the video plays. So I would like to continue on the gear itself. So you mentioned 1855 lens, cinema manual lens. So how do you handle manual lens while shooting? Because that is
that's why it's particularly for a cinema setup where you have a focus puller who actually pulls your focus, who actually is actually taking care of your focus. Because most of the times as cinematographers, we don't pull our own focus, because there are hundreds and millions of things you need to take care in a set. You literally need a focus puller who's actually taking care of focus. So that's when like this actually brings in a great combo where you have a smaller setup, but at the same time there is one focus puller pulling focus for you. But I have actually shot with that lens because it is not that heavy, especially when you have like a grip, because then the balance becomes more easier, like with the X-T3. So you get like it's a decent size amount lens. So you have like proper weight, and also you can do it yourself. But at the same time, it's always better to have a focus puller, especially when you're using cinema lenses. That's the whole idea of cinema lenses. So when you don't have a cinema like that kind of a setup, you literally can get this kit lens. I think this is like world's best kit lens in the world. This is like 1855 f2.8 to f4. I literally have shot so many review videos, so many stuff with this particular lens because of the IBIS and everything. Whenever I need to do travel, so I kind of literally one lens I go to is like 1855 f2.8 to f4. So yeah.
So yeah, for one of the follow-up question for that was, since you're a handheld shooter, so I was about to ask like, how do you manage that? I think you answered it very well.
Don't say these things, man. Like people will only see me as a handheld shooter. Like no, literally, it all depends on the. See, Namdev Bhav you saw.
Yes.
There's not a single frame handheld. Everything is on sticks. Everything is on gimbal. There's not a single shot on handheld. So it all depends on the script. It's literally about like what I'm shooting. So, what was your question though? Like after
No, actually, I think we have to be careful on the terminology we use as well, because in the field that makes a lot of sense. When I say handheld, I think I said, see, as you put it in gimbal will be on your shoulder, right? With the or with the handheld. So I was talking when your focus puller, usually in feature films or large format movies, the focus puller is another person who does the job for you.
So I think you can show the BTS from Hold Tight, they'll get an idea about what.
Great. So we'll on that video we'll have the questions. So before the video plays, I'll go ahead and ask for the next question. So it is similar to that. So what is your process for larger format movies and for the short movies or a music video? What is the process you maintain as a cinematographer? Like what is the topic you'll be involved in? Like what are the parts of the movie you will be involved in, and how does the process go on?
See, I think as a, like, say for example, if you're a cameraman, there are like two different things like people misunderstand about like especially the camera department. There are two people. One is either cinematographer or DOP, or you're a cameraman, or like say sometimes you have a gimbal, like what do you call it, operator. So it all depends on what you want to be. If you want to be a cinematographer or a DOP, you need to be there on the thing from beginning to end. You need to give entire time with the director and the producer, or like the creative directors on the film from beginning to end. That's when you're a real DOP. Otherwise, for me, like you're just a camera operator. I personally, I know people who just come on the set, like do this, then and start shooting. I don't believe in that, because I kind of want to like take care from the beginning to end. I want to be part from the beginning to the end. And luckily for me, like especially on the sets or on the things I've already worked, my director and my creative director Dheer Mamaya, my director Darya guy, and my team, the entire team, they are so knowledgeable. They are good visually, they are good audio wise, they are good with like a lot of things. As a filmmakers, they are as a whole. So for me, they're always there with like to give second eye for everything I do, or I'm always there as a second eye for everything they do. So we kind of work as a team, and that's how it should be, man. As a film, it's a collaboration. Like it's kind of a collaboration medium of art. So you have to be like together and bring in. And honestly, there are times where you need to actually be part. There are times when you need to seclude yourself, because it's very important to also give director her space, her creative freedom, her vision to come out. For you to like for that, you need to always be like you need to understand how much you should be part of, how much you shouldn't be. Like say as a cinematographer, as a DOP, what I do is like after the idea has been ideated, me, Dad, he, we all sit and we kind of come up with like what would be the language for camera, what would be the language for the movement, what would be the language for colors, like how we go about it. We all discuss together. So literally, that's why when you said like it's all good work by me because of the visual medium, literally, Dheer has a lot of hand to play with because like of the things that you're seeing. And Dar is visually so strong, so she kind of understands what colors work where and everything. So man, literally, like it's all of us together. So I have to be there everywhere. I don't have to be there everywhere. So I need to like know exactly what's the good balance. But there are times when I get really particular about things. Like say for example in Kian Cosmos, it's a film that I shot. It's on Netflix now. We literally like Sudipto is so great as a director, and my then producers Anisha and all, they were so great. They literally changed the color of the wall 8 times for me because I had to like go nitpick. No, not this, not this, not this. I go select something, they mix with something else, and they put something else. And it's been like 8 times we had to change it. And sometimes, yeah, man, it all comes down to like how important is that image. Like there is a good balance of how much you're ready to compromise and how much you're ready to like give in everything to get what you want. So yeah.
Yes, I think we'll move on to the video. फिर इसके बाद हम लोग थोड़ा और डिस्कस करेंगे इसके बारे में.
Okay.
the day that keeps you with the flow. Something unfindable, deep underneath the ocean. Doesn't chase the fight that feels right. Feels like we're making it to twilight. Thinking of the bones until we end up all space and time. It makes your life just a little more painful, but then it gets back to all just to make you wish it away.
Are we going that angle again?
Little more, yeah.
Box has been
Yeah.
delivered.
What was delivered? Action. Now
I think those guys.
action.
इंडिया में जितने लोग उतने रंग, मगर फिर भी हम नहीं सुधरेंगे. हाँ? देखा है तुम्हें ताने मारते हुए, धुतकारते हुए तुम्हें हाँ, रंग का मजाक उड़ाते हुए तुम्हें हाँ. देखा है तुम्हें ताने मारते हुए, धुतकारते हुए तुम्हें हाँ, रंग का मजाक उड़ाते हुए तुम्हें हाँ.
डेट के लिए का
Yes. So we saw that behind the scene videos. We'll be seeing this India's Got Color video again. We'll talk about that particular video later because that has to be mentioned somewhere in this video. So
Saurabh kept going on because he kept seeing my work and just like got lost. Thank you.
yeah, that's the quality of your work, Aditya. That people get lost while seeing all the videos. Yeah.
You're making me awkward. Let's go. Go.
Okay, so the first, I would like to talk about the behind the scenes. We saw that how the work goes on and how, what we kind of videos like how is the process work. हमने ये देखा कि आप पूरा टीम मिलके एक मतलब आप लोग सारे almost every process आप लोग join करके मतलब मिलजुल के करते हो. I think that is where the creative flows goes around. So yeah, so people who want to watch more of Aditya's work, you can just go to Aditya Varma Arts, right? Aditya Varma channel in YouTube, and Instagram it's Aditya Varma Arts, so that you can follow and see more of videos. We will not be able to show all of his work because there's a lot of works he's been done, and all of them are beautiful. So we'll be curating some of the videos which is related to our Q&A session today. हम लोग उसी के बारे में देखेंगे. अगर आप देखना चाहते हो और recent works आप उनके चैनल में देख सकते हैं. ठीक है, तो yes, we'll move on to the next question is how do you choose the lenses? Because like you said that there is like you mix with the team and then you do the process. But according to scene or the situation, like how do you choose the lens? If there is because the lensing plays a vital part in the cinematography, right? So using a 35mm makes a different angle of view, and then like the same thing with other focal lengths. So how do you select a lens for that particular scene?
Yeah, again, it comes down to like what part of the script I am in. Like, say, for example, if you are like shooting a feature film, especially, you might be on the 40th page in the whole 120 pages of script. So on the 40th page, you need to decide what is the mood of the character, what has been the tempo so far. Is it like it all depends on like, oh, if I'm on a gimbal or if I'm on a motion thing, tracking thing, how wide do I want to go with that tracking? Because honestly, with all the motion and with this, you want to keep it less than 35 all the time. So you need to like track it smoothly and properly. But like say, for example, if there are a static shot or like something that you have a handheld shot, you need to also see like what is the mood of that particular place, like say 40th scene. And like I think best thing comes down to like whenever I'm on this like on the shoot, I constantly am like my memory power is so bad. One, I keep forgetting things, and for me, like to have a particular copy of my script is always necessary. And no matter what whoever says, I keep forgetting at that moment. So I'm always like that. That is also I think is a good trait for me as a cinematographer that I forget things, because that keeps me hooked with what I'm going to do that moment, because I'm always like, oh, okay, I forgot everything right now. It's just about this. Like, it's just about this moment. So I'm actually reading, 40th. So what is the mood of the whole character at that moment? What is the mood of, or like what director wants to see in this? That is also a very key important thing. And literally, I never want to like let people see, oh, he's used a beautiful like shot, oh, he's used a beautiful way to show background blur, or he's used a beautiful way to show like the scenic. So it all depends. Like why Namdeva we had to go so wide in most of the shoot was the reason. Like me, Dheer, we took a decision beforehand that no matter how beautiful this entire situation is, entire location is, no matter how empty the roads are, how empty the things are, he's still not finding silence. He's still not finding he's still in search of something, because everything is right in front of him. Like there are shots where he's like sitting and everything is like literally empty and there's just like mountains and he's covered with everything. He's still not finding his silence. So to show that as a, like my job is to like in my medium through my camera, how much I can say that part of the story as well as possible in that position, in that location of the script. Then it comes to your choice of colors, your choice of lens, your choice of what is your what is the mood that you want to do. Like say for example, the same lens again plays like two different roles in two different setups. Like say for example, if there is an emotion that you want to go tight onto the subject and like show like a close up of like say Namdeva. There are times where I go from telephoto to his close-up to show that he's a bit peaceful or he's like a little calm and everything. But when we want to show he's a disturbed, he's trying to move and he's trying to go away, then we go with 14mm lens and then just go like really tight on him, then we feel like we are with him and then we are still not like finding our peace. So it all like it's a journey like how it goes, because if you see in the end like where Alik and Namdev were sitting in the end, of course they are wide, but they are more into like 35mm or like little telephoto-ish kind of shots. Especially like there is one scene where he's going to the hut. Like I think once the film comes on the OTT platforms, everyone can like relate to what I'm talking about. So it's coming this year mostly, hopefully. So it all depends. Like you guys go push Jugaad Motion Pictures to put it on OTT because literally working on it.
I've been following up with Namdev Bhav like from 1 year, I guess. So it's been that there's been a lot of talk about the movie, but I have not able to see the actual movie because
See, honestly, it's like literally comes down to like how like we want to place our film. Like we don't want to sell like be a sellout with the film, like because we made it with like so much love and passion, and we all gave like part of us ourselves to the project. We didn't want to like just be as a release on like any other video, like any other film that is coming out nowadays on the OTT platforms. So we want it to have a special packaging. So that's why we are like we are also very keen to like show you guys everything, but it's just not possible. Like it's just not happening. But it'll happen in 2020 hopefully. Let's hope.
I think अभी इस वक्त perfect time है हम लोग देखने के लिए.
Yeah.
I think बहुत सारे like there's a lot of thinking.
Anyone wants to like push it, like go talk to Dheer Momaya, DNM Roots, and make him do something about it. But he's also been like trying to be because we all pitched in, like it's not like we all pitched in to the idea. We all came as a collaboration to it. So he also is trying to save our self-respect, and he's trying to like save all artists' self-respect and trying to, because people like Andrea Guerrera did music for this. Andrea Guerrera is like I think he's Oscar nominee and stuff. So he did music. So luckily we got all of them on board. So we don't want to do injustice to all these people who have done.
मैं समझ सकता हूँ. I completely understand there's a lot of process and thinking which will be going on to release that. ठीक है, हम लोग इसी के बारे में बात करते हैं थोड़ा. हमने बात किया गियर के बारे में, हमने बात किया लेंस के बारे में. अभी हम लोग एक्चुअल वीडियो के बारे में बात करते हैं. फ्यूजी फिल्म हमेशा कलर में टॉप राइटर रहा है. हम लोग कलर बेस्ट डिलीवर करते हैं. दैट इज बीन व्हाट वी हैव बीन टॉकिंग अबाउट. सो एक सवाल हम जानना चाहते हैं कि आपको लाइक द वीडियोस व्हिच वी हैव सीन ऑफ योर वर्क, एक टोन हमेशा सेट रहता है. लाइक देयर इज अ कलर पैलेट व्हिच वाज टेस्टफुली चोजन एंड इट्स बीन डन. अगर लाइक थोड़ा आप इसके बारे में बताएंगे कि आप सिलेक्ट करते हो या कलर पैलेट की डायरेक्टर का भी देयर विल बी से इन द डायरेक्टर्स, और हाउ डू यू do this?
Honestly, I come up with the color palette. At least like nowadays, like it has become a norm that I make a color palette for each scene or each particular location. So मैं एक पहले लोकेशन देखता हूँ. लोकेशन देख के हम कैसे कैमरा सेट करेंगे, यहाँ से कैसे what will be the breakdown of the shots and everything, वो देख के I set like I think of this should be the wall color, this should be this, and then I like make myself notes, and then I go back home and make a color palette का presentation for the director and the whole team. And उसको देखने के बाद obviously Daria, if she has something that she wants to change or not, then she comes up with her own ideas and she tells me what is good and what is not good. But honestly, sometimes there are times when I stick to my stuff. Sometimes I'm okay with like what Daria is saying, because she actually has visualized the most, like more than me. So sometimes I have to like give in. So there's nothing called मैं ही करता हूँ या वो करता हूँ. But मैं definitely start करता हूँ the whole procedure, and then from there it goes on to different hands and different minds.
I think
and also like say like one thing I want to mention, like people like what about like how Fuji helps me with this is like my first time when Fuji announced F-Log, like they announced it as a firmware update on XT2, I think, not on XT3. Like the first time I got F-Log, man, my mind just got blown, man. Like literally, like that is when I literally know for a fact like this is the lamba goda hai. Like I have to like use this for a while, because it's so easy for me to grade 1, 2, like just as a concept of F-Log, how great it looks, and how like for me how clean the footage is, and then how much I can push and pull at the same time. like like there's so many good things, man. Like I haven't ever once felt, oh, low light में कैसे करूँगा या बाहर high keys miss कैसे करूँ, like never as once like I thought problem होगी. And also the kind of style I have, or the, like you're saying, like the kind of style I shoot in, the F log fits in so well, because for me too flat log doesn't work too much for me. Like also, like say for example, there are other logs, right? S log or V log. They're kind of too flat. I kind of cannot judge what the image is and stuff. Of course, we can use LUTs and stuff later and do things. But for me, like straight out of the camera, like what I look is what I feel, man. So that something I always want to like tell people also, like people just go too much on dynamic range, man. There has always been this kind of like मेरे पीछे पिछला वर्कशॉप में भी मैंने ये बोला था, we all have weaknesses as cinematographers or photographers. लोग उसको पकड़ते हैं और उसको पैसे बनाते हैं. सबसे पहले एक टाइम पे था और मतलब एक पॉइंट था, क्या था, it was all about megapixel megapixel megapixel. सब मेगापिक्सल के पीछे भागते थे, and then लोग उसको पैसे बनाने के लिए they used to release as many cameras as possible, 100. Like obviously I can't say much about that now, but then
सिर्फ 2 मेगापिक्सल के लिए हम लोग एक कैमरा खरीदते थे.
या एग्जैक्टली. एंड उसके बाद क्या हुआ, डायनामिक रेंज अभी थोड़ा नया गेम हुआ है. डायनामिक रेंज के पीछे लोग सेंसिटिव हो गए, बट लिटरली हाउ मच डायनामिक रेंज आर यू गिविंग इन द एंड प्रोडक्ट इज लिटरली like 8 stops maximum, and we want like 16 stops, 20 stops, and then we convert it to, and it becomes pain in the ass, man. End of the day, like to create so much footage and bring it to six stops or 7 stops, because the real usable dynamic range comes down to like 12, 11, which is like a perfect mix for me with Fuji. But at the same time, ऐसे अभी नया गेम आ रहा है, it's called micro contrast, or it's called like what is it, color science. ये सब चीजों का, like how can I tell you, like these are some of the key things. Like as a Fujifilm, like as a representative, I shouldn't be speaking all this, but this is what I really want to stress to people is like you need to like choose what is good for you, and what works for you is like your mantra, man. That's all I can say.
I think that is the best way to put it. हम लोग बहुत सेशन में सुना कि there is a person called Dargai or Daria. I've been hearing a lot, and उसके साथ काम करना कैसा लगा आपको? मतलब how is it different from other directors? How is she?
See, short, I think after I came to Bombay, the first project like I did was with Daria and Dheer. So literally, you can call, she's my mentor, she's my everything, she's my guru. Like because the first project I did was a BTS, like मैंने behind the scenes shoot किया उनके लिए. The second film she shot, I became the DOP. So for me, like it's like too quick of a switch, because in the same year I was shooting BTS. In the same year I'm shooting DOP. It's kind of a dream run for me, because like to connect with a director like that, to understand someone inside out, and to have like good clash of tastes, and also to understand like we have similar eye. It's like I'm very lucky, because like I can say it's lucky, but at the same time I feel it's kind of a universe game where I put in so much effort from like 6-7 years, and then it has come down like this in the form of Daria guy. I feel that is something that I always feel. And at the same time, Daria is a great visionary. She's a magical being, man. Like the moment you're with her, the moment you see her on the set, the first time I saw her, like the kind of connection I made with her, like the kind of respect, just like it just blew. And not just Dar, right? Like even Dheer. When I first saw Dheer and Dar, like it literally blew my mind. And they are the ones who started Jugaad Motion Pictures with Sakshi Khanna, another friend of ours. Mm-hmm. So they started everything, and I'm very thankful to them, and I'm very lucky that like I got to be a part of them.
Yes. Aditya, there's around 50 minutes left and we have a lot of questions. हम लोग एक के बाद एक
Definitely take audience questions. I think we definitely will take others' questions as well. And I would like to say sorry to audience firstly because there's so many. I'm sure there are so many questions that we are not able to answer. Like whatever we'll be able to answer, I'll try and do. You also do one thing. Try and condense like the most of the questions that
Yes.
have come in.
I'm trying to merge those questions, मगर हम लोग मतलब थोड़ा pace up करेंगे. वही बोल रहा था.
Okay. Sorry, I'll do it faster. Yeah. Let's go.
So this question is from Dev Manan. So he's asking, do you prepare for a particular scene beforehand, or you just improvise during the shoot?
Though definitely, see, we definitely in like say things like Namdev Bhav, we did not have this luxury of preparing. So we had to shoot on the go. We had to decide, like we had to come like one day before sunset or like after sunset and decide, sun would be coming from this side. So we'd probably use this angle and all that we had to do inside our head. So then we did not have this luxury of preparation. Now we do. So we always prepare so well, and then this is where 60% or 70% of our work is already done before we actually take our shots. And on the go, definitely we do a lot of changes. Like everything on the set, on the shoot day goes down south. Everything goes like for a toss. Whatever we thought, everything would be like, oh, okay. So now where do I take this from? So then I come down to this that I need to like relax, calm down. I have a camera. Whatever I can do with it, whatever best I can do with this scenario, what I have, I go on spontaneity then. But mostly we always are hitting our target somewhere around 60%. We kind of like keep it there, and 40% we do spontaneous.
Yes. So the next question is from Shivankar Das. I'll be answering this question, मगर क्योंकि वो थोड़ा technical के बारे में पूछ रहा है. Which is the mid-level best camera and lens for cinematography? अभी फिलहाल अगर आपके पास बजट नहीं है, मिड लेवल चाहिए तो XT30 is the best. XT30 is a little brother of XT3. हाँ जी.
So I would say to go for XT3 because now like the release of XT4, they can definitely go with XT3 as the prices may or may not come down. I don't know if I can say it. I think it would be better for them to, if they're serious about cinematography, or if it's, because for me, the best thing about Fujifilm is pricing, The pricing of XT3 is mid-level for anything outside. So I would say they would just definitely can go with XT3 in the sense that now the prices have definitely already come down, so you can definitely go with XT3. But XT30, if it's like you want to cut down like another, like say 20-30K or something of that sort, then you can definitely go. But it's like little brother of XT3. Yeah, man, continue now.
So अगर price drop होता है तो XT3 का उसके बारे में मतलब that is also a very good option. मगर mid level में फिलहाल अभी हमारे पास XT30 है. I think I would suggest either buy with a kit lens, and then additional you would go for 35mm XC f2. Abhi 35f2 is one of the best used lens for cinematographers, and because it's XC lens, you're getting in the price range of 17,000 rupees. So that is one of the lower end price for our XC lenses. I think that is one of the best combo you can go for. ठीक है, हम लोग next question देखते हैं. So, I think the people are asking, how did you shoot those multiple people with Gymshark? So before that, I would, Saurabh, if you can play the behind the scene video, so that we'll see the video and then we'll discuss more about how it was shot.
Did he not play again already, or?
Yeah, we'll play it again. Yes, अगर आप देख सकते हो इस वीडियो में कि आदित्य शॉट मतलब किस तरह का वीडियो चल रहा है. Like you can see clearly that Fujifilm camera is being used in all kind of setups for cinematographers. You can see focus pullers as well. अगर आप wide ring देख रहे हो, that is one of the focus pullers which is being used for the lenses. And I think she is working with Daria, the one cinematographer who is the director, who is next to him. I think she's from Ukraine, right? Yes. हम लोग ठीक है. So I think this is one of the best behind the scenes you can see like how it was shot. अगर आदित्य आप समझा सकते हैं कि कैसे शॉट किया मतलब there is a lot of Jim Sharp has been like in one frame has been like 4-5 times or more than that. How has it been shot?
So like literally it's a very basic technique of where you don't let two people merge, but at the same time there were some shots of him crossing over on each other, but we had to shoot the same shot like say 20 times. There are some shots with like 20-25 Jims, so we literally had to shoot like you wouldn't believe. We had to skim the whole light because the sun can't be changed, right, for all 20 shots. So you literally have to like control the whole entire swimming pool with the light, and we had like huge skimmers just to cover the whole sun and then not to change the sunlight, and then we made Jim Saab do like 22 to 23 times the same scene in different places and different positions. And Jim is so amazing. He understands the story and the line so well from inside out. He himself comes up with so many things. There is one guy who's shooting him, the other guy is reacting to it. All that he has come up on the go, and Daria has come up with some serious like artistic shots. So everything as a merge, it came out really well. And the most difficult parts were interiors, when we had to fit so many Jim Saabs without having a connection with each other, and light should not move, the camera should not move from its position, and we had literally like no time. We shot the entire thing in like 2 days. So it's kind of that's the reason why we went with X-T3 most of it, because it had to be like really quick and fast. And for me, it's one of the bigger achievements than other videos that I've done. So I kind of like really like heart this video, because the amount of effort we had put in, the amount of thought like we had to give to each and every frame, because it's like 1:21. Like 21 times I need to think, oh, this comes there, what is the light like there, and which side he has to position for which profile we have to take. So, and where his eye line is going. So it's kind of very, very, very difficult to do that. But it was fun, man. Like now I see it. It's so much. So much like so satisfactory.
Actually, इसके बारे में मतलब हम लोग बात कर रहे थे कि इसमें there is a crane called bolt. क्योंकि अगर आप movement के साथ वीडियो शूट कर रहे हो, बहुत सारे लोग हैं, then there's a lot of technical aspect of the algorithms which it feed in. So I can understand the struggle you've gone through, or the team which has gone through for this. ठीक है, हम लोग अगला सवाल ले रहे हैं. That is from Varda. एक पहली like amateur photographer or cinematographer who is starting, what is the tips you would like to give, or the resources should be used? I've seen a lot of videos you suggesting YouTube channels or the resources what you can use. So what is the resources you want to tell the young people who are starting, and the few tips if you can?
See, one definitely is like what Daria tells me to be a better filmmaker is build imagination. I think a lot of us, we invest a lot on technical knowledge, we invest a lot on technical space of our lives, but we don't put ourselves into like traveling or like understanding life in general, having empathy. So that's where you need to invest a lot of your time into like maybe reading books or like watching stuff relating to that. And if you want to go technical, first is like I personally feel what differentiates me from others is not my technical knowledge, because I don't even think I have enough technical knowledge when compared to the youngsters who are nowadays who are killing with their like the kind of stuff I see with the youngsters, how they do is great. But what I separate from others, I feel is the empathy I have, the kind of emotional background I have, and how much I apply that to my cinematography. Like, because sometimes I am literally crying with the actor. Like when the actor is performing, I'm literally crying with the actor. I'm literally connected with the actor. Like even Kia and Cosmos, I still remember Sudipta saying, I am literally crying and there is like a little bit of shake happening in my camera. Sudipta is like, you don't cry. I'm like, no, not. But I'm literally crying and shooting like that, and it was extremely like now if I see that like some of the scenes, in the end I'm literally crying when like she's talking about like the moon or like the woman on the moon and stuff. So I kind of I'm very empathetic, or like I relate to humans, like I relate to human emotions. So that's something that you need to invest a lot into. But for technical knowledge and everything, I kind of suggest some books whenever, like if they can contact me or something. But more of it is like keep shooting for yourself, man. Like keep shooting things for yourself and apply whatever knowledge you have, and instead of like gaining more knowledge. Let's go, man.
Yes, we'll be taking questions from the comments now. Radhika Nadadur has asked, how did your family
Is my Radhika auntie is my chachi, so.
So he's asking, how did your family support you with this profession? It's quite different from today's norms.
See, one thing is like whatever I am, it's because of my parents, man. Like my dad is kind of not so well. He's not so well. He's in Tirupati right now. He's in a hospital. Like I want all of you to pray for him as well. He's so like whatever I am, whatever I've been, why I'm so emotional, why I am, it's because of my connection with my family and whatever they have given me, and not just my family, like my relatives, my like everyone who are always there. And I'd like to thank my mother and my father for everything they've done, man, because they never judged on what I am doing, because I always give them heart attacks, because first I was like into accounting. I shifted from accounting to modeling, and then went to photography, and then went to cinematography, and then went on to doing things like after my breakup, I went and did karate for like good 30 days. So my dad keeps getting bouncer over bouncer, bouncer over bouncer, but still has been always been supportive. So I kind of I can't like, it is very very important to have like support your child. If you're a mother or father, you need to support your children with what they are. There'll be a time when they'll shine. It takes time, man. It takes time. It took a lot of time for me to get here. And my parents have always been patient, and my brother has always been like financially supporting all me and like all of us. So like without my brother and my whole family, I don't think it was possible.
I think like we have to appreciate our fathers and the parents. Yeah, that's something else we can be gratitude on that. Okay, so there's Sai Shekhar who is asking next question. As an artist or a filmmaker, is it common to have self-doubt?
Yesterday also I think I kind of was going through a little bit with one of my actors, this whole conversation where he or she was actually going through this like kind of a part of, I think as an artist, like no matter what you are, no matter what you're doing, this whole setup, right, like being like accessible to so many people in the world, it definitely creates this sense of like smallness. Like say for example, if you go online, there is definitely one or two people, or like there are definitely millions of people who are better than you, man. You need to like come to terms with that you can't be the best. You are not the best. You need to come to terms with that, and I have come to terms with it. But there is, as a human brain, you definitely come up with like one or the other doubt. But I think it is only till the moment you actually get into the process of creating the art. Once you start, I don't think anyone in the world, like it's all about process of starting, man. Before that, you might have self-doubt, but while you're shooting, I don't think you'll have it. If you do have it, it's because you're not in the element or you're not living that moment. I personally always like have this kind of doubt for what is happening. Now I've overcome that, because now I know for a fact that I can't be better than anyone, but I know for a fact I'm different than them, or different than someone, like because I am like it's like zebra lines, right? Like every zebra line is different to each other. Like you can't compare yourself to others and say, oh, I'm not like that. No, you are different the way you are. You just need to apply that and just like be better at it.
I think it's very well put. So the next question is from SG. So who decides your shot composition? Is it you or the director, or is a like?
See, honestly, anyone in the world can do anything else. But while I'm coming to the shot, I personally am that's my world. I can't like obviously, there are the shot breakdown. Most of the times, Veer and Dar, they sit and write. But while I'm setting the shot, I am my dictator. I don't even listen to any of myself. Like sometimes I don't listen to my brain. It's just like what comes to that part. Like that's something that you can't give away to anyone. Like honestly, there are times when Daria might not like the frame and she'd say, "Oh, this is not working for me," and then there might be a few changes, but mostly it's my cup. Like it's mine.
I think yeah, but like when you start with the composition, they will just let you know कि हमको ये mood चाहिए और ये expression दिखाना है, ये story से बताना है.
I'll tell you, as a director, you need to know how to write short breakdown. Like as a director, it's part of their job. Or like sometimes cinematographers write the short breakdown as well. I have done it sometimes with Dar, sitting with her, and most of the times it's like this. Like we three sit and we make the short breakdown and we come up with each and everything. But sometimes I'm not there. I'm like they both are themselves writing. Because Dheer also has a very good visual understanding of cinema and how emotions work in tandem with the shot. But when we are like discussing the shot breakdown, then I go and tell them, "Oh no, this won't work." So everything comes down to again, man, how your team is and how you want to do your work. For me, I want to literally feel it. Like I go to the location, I see the actors performing or like practicing. I just go already and then set the frame and do things like that. Yeah. But there are some directors for sure who want to like actually set the frame, because I know a lot of directors who want to actually decide the frame factor. But it all comes down to how good the connection with them and the DOP is. But Daria, most of the time, she comes and sees the frame I set, and she's like, wow. So that is my get go for me to like say, oh, okay, it's going in good direction, and then I set properly, and then I work on that.
But I think
Daria always gives me reactions. Like I kind of like from the back of my mind, I'm listening to what Daria is saying. She's like, wow, and then she's talking to the genius. So she's a live wire. Yeah. She actually she actually is my validator, so to speak.
Is it safe to say that हर director के साथ काम अलग होता है? Like director can be a little bit.
Absolutely, I wanted to mention this point. Like I remember one of my favorite scenes I've ever shot is with Sudipto Roy. One of the favorite. So what happens is like there is this shot of the mother and daughter coming together and they're having a conversation about the past. And Sudipto Roy says, "Cheko jaise karna hai kar, do whatever you want." And he just leaves me with like no understanding of what to do, how to do and stuff. And literally I am in the shot like moving, going, cutting. My editor is such a genius. He actually like used all the zooms I did while I was shooting, and he used all the stuff I was like adjusting the frame and stuff. It kind of helped, to create that world of Kia. So it kind of was a great experience.
ठीक है, अगला सवाल है शोविक बंद्योपाध्याय से. How you control the moire in footage? Is there a way you can edit moire in post processing?
Specifically, moire definitely there are now ways to remove a little bit of moire, but mostly I kind of avoid really close knitted lines or like really very like on actors. I try and always avoid that kind of clothes. But also we have come down so far with cameras where moire is not even an issue anymore. Mm-hmm. Like all my cameras kind of control moire by internally. So I don't have to work. But there are like times when you see the actor wearing and just like I just go to my stylist and tell them, like literally we can't use this t-shirt. I'm so sorry. It's a problem with the camera. And then yeah.
So
you have control, man. Honestly, mostly people are asking these questions like they have a lot of control. Unless there is a place where, like this is it, like this is all we have, then you have to think of, how will we control it in the post? That happens sometimes. But when you have control, you literally make the actor remove the t-shirt and start doing like body or something.
Yes. Okay, there's next question is about the lighting part. So ये lighting कौन set करता है? क्योंकि cinematographer अगर आप angle set कर रहे हो, like the way you
always do free lighting. My gaffers, they are amazing. We always I give them also kind of hard time, but they also like they also have got used to me. Like my best gaffer Sona, and in Sudipta's film I worked with Boltuda. They always are on their point and they love me like to their heart. Like I just like I can't thank them enough, because most of the time it's the DOPs and the cinematographers who come into light. They do like they are not even seen anywhere. I should thank them, each one of them, whoever done so far. What they do is they all like I speak to them before the scene starts or like before the shot starts. I tell them this is where I want the light from, this is how I want it. Mostly like I kind of see the whole room or like the scene where we are, and I kind of take from the window or like some of the accidents that has happened. I kind of elevate those, like say sometimes sun rays or something fills in. I tell like Sona, like we need to create that, blocking it. So he blocks the entire light coming from the window and then creates a fake window light. So like I kind of come up with these things, and then Sona sets it up, and then I do the final adjustments according to how it looks on the camera. But mostly it's your call. Like this is something you have to take. Like you have to understand whatever your aesthetical knowledge or sense, because if you see Cold Mess, most of it looks like nature light, but it has been created with like light that we like had to do and stuff, and very minimal lighting. And I always believe in like keeping it as natural as possible, because the more I take the audience away from the real, like especially it depends on the story, right? Again, like when the director is creating that real Bombay real story happening, you can't create like the spotlight in the back and just like give like so much of smoke in the back, smoke. So it won't resonate with the audience, like they won't connect it that easily. It all depends on like the story. Like say for example, if you're doing a Blade Runner, of course you need to light in a certain way because it's post 2040 or whatever. So you need to like always like be aware of what you're doing. So then it again comes down to script man.
ठीक है, अगला सवाल है गौतम मुक्का से. Have you felt that technical aspect dominate or diminish the soul of the creator? मतलब अगर आप कुछ सीन के बारे में सोच रहे हो या मतलब the way you want to take it, does your camera gear limit itself or like it creates more, dominates your entire thing?
Yeah, it's hand in hand, man. It's the balance that we can create. I think literally it's the best balance of both technical knowledge and your emotional investment into particular thing. Definitely he's right about how the world is going right now, because world has become so technically advanced. They have imbibed that into the form of arts and everything. That's not really a good advancement, I would say, because see, honestly, we have to get used to, or we have to adapt to the changes that we are going through. But at the same time, we need to preserve art as a form. But there are a lot of people who actually use technical knowledge into great use. So I think it's always great balance between both. And I'm also trying to, like day in, day out, trying to adapt to things, because I am so used to, like I learned everything by myself from like say 8-9 years. I've been using Premiere Pro and stuff. Now I'm slowly learning, because I have shut down, I'm slowly learning DaVinci Resolve. So I'm trying to slowly shift to DaVinci Resolve. So it's all about like how much time and how much love you have for your job.
Yes. Great. So I'll move on to the next question.
Yeah.
So what is your relationship with your gaffer and the color, like the editors? Like how do you correlate, or how do you make them understand the way you want to?
No. Colors in the sense, probably he's talking about color grading. I personally color grade all the stuff myself, except like 1 or 2 projects. I always color grade everything myself. I kind of definitely am very irritating to work with a color grading artist. So I kind of know I'll kill them if they're sitting with. So I kind of learned color grading for that purpose, and I did entire color grading of Namdev myself, or all the music videos that you're seeing, except like 1 or 2. But how I communicate with my gaffers is literally I kind of come up with some references first. Like this is the kind of, see, mostly all the references are my own, whatever I shot before with like natural lighting, and show them, oh, I want everything to be natural lighting. Sometimes like I go with like when there is something else that like the director has come up with, like say for Liggy, it's something that we haven't done like with the motion and everything. So we had to like create those like over the top stuff. So then I go to gaffers and show some references that I pick up on internet and stuff. So yeah, mostly references. But with the editor, man, I love my editors because it's like they understand as much as they understand as much as it is everybody's, it is mine as well. So they kind of are very empathetic towards like how much effort I had put into the shot or like how much effort I had put into. So they kind of find a really great balance of putting what frames Aditya likes and what frames Dar likes and all that. So it's always good balance. But most of the time now, Daria sits on the edit from starting to end, and my great friend Pralay Valanju is mostly our editor. He's the Hatari Hanzo in all our videos. So he's the greatest like editor, man. And also Shonagda, actually Shonagda edited Namde Bao. He literally, I can say he literally saved our film because we had so many problems during the shoot. We had so many problems with light continuity and all that because we literally had no crew to control light or balance light and everything. So he kind of put things together so well. So yeah, man, editor most of the time saves the game as well. Even with even with Kia and Cosmos, we did not have a film if there was no editor. So yeah, Anirbandha saved the game.
ठीक है. So हम लोग अगले सवाल पे जाते हैं. So this is asked by Neroy. During pre-production, what do you expect from the director with regard to the mood and shot, everything, like short lists? So, what in the pre-production, what do you expect from the directors as a cinematographer? What do you want to know so that your work gets easier? Or
we talk a lot, like in the sense that you need to like literally sit with director and discuss things and like what does she have, how did she see the things, and you need to be zero ego. You need to be zero, you need to be an empty glass, man. You can't be like half filled and say, oh, I have this in my mind. You just need to first listen to them, and you listen to your creative directors or the showrunners nowadays. They are also the most vital parts. So you need to like understand what are there, what do they want literally, and then you can tell them what you have in your mind, and then come up with short breakdown together or whatever. Like literally, it's everything and nothing. Like whatever you want from them is what you give them. Like it's literally one being, man. With Jugaad Motion Pictures, at least it's that we all like are one ego. So yeah, so it's kind of that, man.
Yes. So I'll be moving on to the next question. There's a lot of people commenting.
If there is something that I expect from the director is like literally script and idea, man. If that's there, like if that's great, your work will come out. Like most of the times, I am in limelight because of how great they've written. Like what am I? Like everything is like nothing. Like the writing was bad. What will I do?
In a large format, do you get the scripts, or cinematographers don't get the script?
No, we do get this. See, literally, obviously, it's the first thing you get. First, you get the synopsis. You understand the whole setup, and then you think, oh, you want to do it. Then you go through the script, and then you see how much you can invest. I personally only see how much I can help or not help the thing, and this has become an easy way for me to exit from projects where I can say, man, literally, I can't be of any help for this. I don't think I'll be of any help. So I don't want to like be part of these projects. So I think that's where you can easily like see if you can be part of a particular project or not. Like, yeah. And having said that, I'm the worst no sayer. I don't know how to say no. Like it just has been like the worst. Let's go, guys. Last 2 questions.
हम लोग मतलब like we have around half an hour time.
3 minutes. That was quick. Great. I'm taking it fast.
हम लोग की वीडियो प्ले करेंगे. Saurabh will be playing one of your videos, and after that we'll move on to the questions again from the comment section.
Great, man.
Somehow, when people think about filmmakers and artists, they think the artist should be melancholic and depressed and starving and cranky. And well, I am cranky in the morning, but this is not what makes me me. I can be anything. For example, I can choose to be happy. And But you know what makes me really unhappy is actually shopping. Like, you know, those moments when you're standing in the green room or you're just like walking with your hangers around and people judge you what you bought or you haven't bought. And but the Jade is something special. I don't feel that I'm just doing another shopping or I'm shopping here. It's more like, I don't know, being in a museum or being in the art exhibition. So when you are interacting with the outfit, there is a dialogue between you and the skirt or between you and the lehenga. Because when you see it, you're thinking where it came from, why the embroidery is particular way. And there is a conversation between me and this art piece. I don't have fear to be girlish or boyish. I think in the morning you can just wear t-shirt with sneakers, and in the evening you can just wear, I don't know, gown with stilettos or stilettos in the shower. I feel this is what the freedom is. When I want and I can to be who I want to be. I can dress what I want to dress, and I can be cranky in the morning.
Yes. We just saw Jade's ad.
Yeah, because I'm not able to see any of the things that you are playing there.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I just played as in like a windbreaker so that there is some video in this lot of question and answers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question is from Payal Nagpal. ये पूछ रही है कि what are the frequent mistakes you made earlier in your craft and your career that you feel like an young cinematographer should be careful about?
I think we should definitely make mistakes to learn yourself. No matter how much you say, you will make mistakes and you learn from them. But you should definitely be making mistakes. I still make mistakes, so it's good. But what the most important stuff I used to do was, I told this in the last workshop also, Abhishek, that I used to do too much grading. I used to do too much of contrast or too much of. And my suggestion is, do as much as grading you want to, as much as pushing of colors and everything that you want to, but try and pull it back to like say 70% or 60% or 50%, because later in your life you won't disgust you don't see it and feel disgusting about it. So yeah, I think that's a great way of saving your art for later.
Yes. Okay. ठीक है. I'll move on to the next question. Okay, so I think there's a lot of questions which was repeated. I think we took time, so they're repeated questions. And yes, how did you get your first DOP job? And I'm also pursuing more than 6 years. Also, I'm still working on currently freelancer cinematography. So, like, it's two-part question. Is like, how did you get your first job or big break, and how did you move on to this become in this level?
See, my first DOP job is some behind the scene video in Bombay. I'll tell you, because I think I don't want to go back to Delhi, where it's just like a lot of things I've done as videographer as well. Because I remember I used to work with Ritesh. He used to shoot photography. I used to do either BTS or I used to do like say fashion film kind of a thing back then. That were my first initial videos that I used to do. But my first paid job is like my first feature film is Namdev Bhav, that has come from Jugaad Motion Pictures. Before that, when I came to Bombay, Anastasia, my friend, I called her. I told her I've moved down to Bombay and I want to actually get into filmmaking. I want to get in touch with any film crew where I can learn and do things. She said, okay, I'll call you back. And then she cut the call and she called me back after a couple of days and said, okay, there is this film crew who are looking for a behind the scene filmmaker or behind the scenes cinematographer. Would you be interested? I said, yes, of course. And then I jumped onto it. Even though I was shooting fashion and all that stuff, I didn't prejudge anything. I went on, I did shoot it, and then, yeah, man, that's the history. After that, I kept on shooting their stuff. But having said that, there's no bad or good job. That's what I need to make people understand nowadays, that you can't just be thinking, oh, it's only films you need to shoot, or it's only series, web series, it's only short film. It all depends on how good the particular piece is, man. It doesn't matter how good the project is. Like say Manto BTS, Manto behind the scenes, I shot after shooting Namdev Bhav. And so many people asked me not to do it, but I knew for a fact, because after being a DOP or going back to shooting behind the scenes, But I told them, like for me, it's the project to just see Nawazuddin Siddiqui like right in front of me and acting, or like just see Nandita directing things and like how she's written script and stuff. And also, I resonate to a lot of Manto's views. I kind of like him a lot. So I said, of course, I have to be part of that project, and went on to like become really good BTS. And the pictures that I shot, Nandita published a book. Now I have a book published in my name. So it's all like you need to like stop judging the work. It's always the project.
Yes. Yeah, I think we'll move to the personal. This thing is like, how do you draw your inspiration, or like shots, or a particular framing? Do you have a particular cinematographer or a photographer do you follow or inspire from?
That's what people like just keep asking me, like if I like honestly, all these Wes Anderson style, like Roger Deakins, all these came really late in my life. Like for me, when I was in Tirupati, I wasn't ever like, I was only growing up watching films. I used to like his Maniratnam films, or like Santosh Sivan cinematography in Dil Se, all those things. I used to like follow some of those, but I never like particularly dived into knowing a cinematographer or like looking up to his work. All that came later, after shooting Namdev, or during shooting Namdev, or before that when I met Jugaad people. And then I went on digging like some people's work, but I never draw inspiration saying, okay, like even today, like for bird watching also, my inspiration is like the shot that I'm shooting. What is the mood of that particular thing? Like if I'm like from a window, I can't think and say, oh, I'll shoot this like Roger Deakins, and like back of my mind, none of it is ever there. Like even when I shot like my old time lapses and all, today if I see those frames, I'm very proud of them. Like my old Epoch series that I shot on YouTube, which are there. Like I see them, and then some of them look like Time Machine or something, like the way I frame. Like none of it was like, everything came from like what am I liking while I'm seeing. And that's what I recommend people, like not to like watch too much stuff also, because that fucks your that messes your mind as well. It's like you cannot like have so much of baggage in the back. Instead, like what Daria says is like read more books, or like see other stuff. Like I draw inspiration from seeing actors' emotions. Like say in Cold Mess, to see like how Zoya was like doing those minute things, like how Jin and Zoya's connection was. Like you can draw inspiration from that, and then frame for that. I think that's something that you need to learn. Like not fall for this technical stuff, and just like be emotionally or like imaginatively connect with those things.
Ja, like by listening to you, like what I understand is that you work very close with actors and director and other people, your entire cast and crew. So because of that, it might like maybe in other bigger projects it might not be feasible, right? They're like, I'm not sure like you'll be able to connect with actors so well. Right now you have that.
I might not connect with them externally, but script level, I will definitely connect with them. What they are doing, say for example, it all comes down to how you're doing the blocking and the practice on the practice day. You see the actors. I know, like I am just like, my camera is not with me, nothing is with me. I am just looking at the actors, what is good, what is not good, from where I literally am living in that moment and just like seeing, oh, this is what I like and this is what I don't like. I think that's how great shots are made, man.
Mm-hmm. So there's one particular which is technical question. It might be off this thing. Mr. Tripura is asking is, how do you set the shutter angle? So it's usually there's a rule, right? 180 degree.
One secret everyone today is gonna get, nobody in the world ever knows as of now, is in Namdev Bhav, I did not maintain shutter angle. Nobody ever got to it, because one thing is my ND filter gave up on me. It broke in the beginning of so I had to like use shutter angle in such a way, like it doesn't matter. I use like 4,000, 1 by 4,000, 1 by 8,000. It doesn't literally matter. And also that actually kind of helped how it showed on the bigger screens when we saw on the bigger screen, because there was this kind of jittery movement. But now I follow the 180 degree angle. Or sometimes I actually mess it up, like especially in Hold Tight, I messed up in the outdoor shots, especially when I was not using the lights, because with the lights there is flicker and stuff, so you need to control that. But when there are no lights, you can definitely use it for like doing storytelling as well. Like if you see some of the like some of the work from Roger Deakins or people, they've also messed up with shutter angle. And it again comes down to how you want to say the story.
Great. Yeah. So Mr. Raj Dwivedi is asking, when are we getting XT4 in India? So हम लोग मतलब कोशिश कर रहे हैं कितना जल्दी हो सके उतना जल्दी लाए. As soon as we open up with this lockdown from India, like as soon as those stores open up, we want to get it. I don't know, that it might take some time. We'll let you know as soon as we get the stocks. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook.
Thank you. That's my question also.
Yes, please follow us on Instagram and Facebook and subscribe to our channel. We'll be letting you know, like sure for sure, that when we'll be launching the XT4. ठीक है. So we'll move on to the next question. So this is again from Payal. Like, did you do separate lighting for each gym or inside the studio? I think we've already answered this question, that you already set up the entire light. So yes, so there is one VK Gar Mr. is asking that, I think it's one of the frequently asked question. While we are shooting a music video and we have to shoot a moving scene with the gimbal, how do you maintain the focus?
So focus puller.
No, but okay.
So in a smaller setup, say this is where I kind of wanted to actually mention like how we need to adapt to the latest technology is like using autofocus. Autofocus is really important, and it's a great technology that's growing up. Not like it's happening in all the camera companies, and Fuji is like on top right now, like on one of the top on the market. And you definitely can rely on autofocus the way we have come through. Like especially on XT4, I see that there are a lot of autofocus developments. So it's great for gimbal usage, and especially like how I did in Namdev with smaller camera was I used to close the aperture and make it like f9, f8 so that I have a lot of room to play with when I was moving like up and down. So the focus, I used to set the focus and then I used to follow the actor backwards or forwards. So it all depends on like how their motion. And we always do blocking. Like no matter what film when you're just definitely doing blocking, then you'll know like how much you need to pull and push. There are times when you need to do like literally handheld, then you need to pull it yourself. Like handheld tracking is quite easy because you know how to pull it and pull out. But when you're doing like a gimbal, autofocus is a great way to go ahead. And two is like do stop the aperture like to like f9 or f10, and there you have a lot of play room. Then you can actually set.
It's important for your coordination between the actors as well, I guess, because when you're focusing.
It's a lot of like that's very important to do. A lot of blocking, trying to do rehearsals, all that comes into.
Okay. So we'll move on to next question is okay. So this is again this question is a little bit slightly repeated, but I think you can answer this. Harsh Kurana is asking, is there a defined path to become a cinematographer, or how to pursue it as a career? Where to start and how to learn from all the complexities?
That's life, man. Like literally, that's life. See, at the age of 26, I decided to be a cinematographer, and in last 6 years, I did what I did. You can, if your age is like lesser than mine, you can literally go into film school, or you can actually learn. There's so much available, so much material available online. You can learn through it. You can shoot things for yourself. Shoot like 20, 30 videos for yourself. That becomes your portfolio. Then show it to your clients. Anyway, you found a lot of work after that. There's no doubt that there is definitely a person for that kind of work for sure. You need to get up out there and shoot, man. You have time or don't have time. You need to figure out how to manage that.
Well, so before I move on to the next question, there's one more video which I would like you to play, Saurabh, that we'll move on to the next video. As soon as we play that, we'll move on to the further questions.
Okay.
I was a child, all my friends wanted to be princesses. But me, no, never. I wanted to become me. mean, I'm made from so many different things. I'm a producer, I'm a mother, I'm an environmentalist, I'm everything. My favorite color is blue today. Yesterday it was green, and tomorrow it's gonna be yellow. I change it every day, actually, every second. My clothes reflect my mind. I'm always on the move. I like my outfits to enable movement rather than restrict me. The first time I wore a jade outfit, I felt it's me. It's a combination of modern and traditional, global, and it makes you feel sexy and fun, and yeah, I love it. So these outfits are just not clothes. I mean, they're my wings.
Yes, I think we can move on to the next video as well, Saurabh, so that there's a little bit. Uh, Okay, great. So there's a lot of questions people are asking about XT3 and XT30. So I'll like to talk about that a little bit. Mr. Soumya Jyoti Bhattacharjee is asking, how far is the XT30 capable for shooting cinematic footage? So there's a lot of features which is combined the same as XT3s in XT30 as well. So if you talk about a lot of videos we also shot for our content creation, we have put XT30 in our gimbal, and it has given us great footage. And later on, if it's in like editing wise, the same quality which is given from XT30 has been put in XT3. So I think it is as capable as XT3, but there's few limitations. I think that like it depends on the, because it is a mid-level camera, it will come with the few limitations. Okay, so Aditya will move on to the next question.
Yeah. I thought he was playing another video though, Saurabh. Okay. In a bit. Okay, cool.
Yes, do we move on?
Human beings. Some Day 15. Birds are also like human beings. Some birds are spiritual, some are not. All birds are political. Day 11. Don't know what date it is or what day. Probably a Tuesday or a Saturday. All of them seem like Sundays merging into Sundays. Some are 27 hours long, some only 13. The days are melting into each other. Don't know when one begins or ends. Day 2, 28th March, Saturday. The refrigerator hums. Day 14. The phone screen seems like a window now to other people, other lives. I wait for calls now, and I get angry when someone does. Day 4, 30th March, Monday. It takes 16 seconds to scrub a plate and then 8 to wash it. It takes 7 seconds to scrub a bowl and 5 to wash it. The small ones. The larger ones, of course, take more time. Almost 46 seconds altogether. Date 9. Tears taste like seawater. I guess the sea is never too far away. Day 1, 27th March, Friday. Ants French kiss when they pass each other. I guess it's oxytocin. Day 8, 3rd April, Friday. I get my best ideas when I clean the dishes, but spoons and forks take too little time, and I tend to go blank. Day 7, 2nd April, Thursday. Spent the afternoon thinking of my parents. 5.8 kilometers away. I don't think I like being a grown up too much. Day 10. The walls hum too. He reads the bricks talking to each other, passing secrets about lab 2001 to the bricks at lab 2008. Day 3, 29th March, Sunday. I need to go get things. Vegetables, cereals, salt, Maggie, other things as well. Day 5, 31st March, Tuesday. When you sweep the floor, you must tame the dust. They are fickle creatures. You must win them over from the wind. Day 16. Day 9. This is slow. This is too slow. This is way too slow. Day 13. The neighbors on the right like गजल. कभी किसी को मुकम्मल जहाँ नहीं मिलता. Day 6, 1st April, Wednesday. Birds are also like human beings. Maybe human beings are like birds. Maybe we're all like each other.
Yes, I think we saw the one beautiful video which was shot recently from Aditya. This is what we were talking about, that bird watching video which he shot. I think this is 7 sunrises, right?
Yeah, 7 sunrises and also sunsets. Like honestly, some of them are like it all depends on like what day I was feeling how. So I wanted to keep it like a little like brighter. So some parts it was shot at 3 p.m. Some parts like, so it all depends on like how I wanted the footage. So that's why I graded it also like in the same temperature. I didn't want to like go like brighter days darker days bright. So it's like I kept the whole thing to the mood of what I felt that time.
Okay, so we are already at 6 o'clock. What we'll do is there's 10 questions which I lined up from the comment box.
Okay.
Take around 1.5, like we'll try to finish as much as fast and answering.
Yes.
And we'll finish it by 6:15 or max 6:20. The session will end it. Okay, so the first question is from Swaroop Narayanan. He's asking if I'm looking to start out as an amateur freelance filmmaker, hoping to be a director. So how important is to learn cinematography and editing, and where would you suggest I start?
Learning, again, we spoke about it, like how we can learn and where we can go about it. Like now there is a lot of YouTube content that you can go and do, and there is this website called Skillshare. You can learn the basics and all there, and then you can follow some of your favorite filmmakers on Instagram and stuff, and then see how it goes about. But as a tandem, as a filmmaker, whatever your profession is, like say for example you're an editor, you need to have an eye for cinematography, you need to have an eye for direction, you need to have an eye for understanding acting and everything. As a cinematographer, I need to know editing for sure. There's no two doubts about it. If I don't know from where it's going to cut off, I am just like not a good cinematographer. So that's where, as a cinematographer, you need to be good with everything. You need to understand if the actor's performance is good or not. So that's where, like as a filmmaker, there are some places you're not so good at. There are some places you're good at. So you need to rely on others. Like say, for example, I bank on Daria for like performances. There is no doubt, like if Daria says, oh, got it, there's no doubt we don't actually go ahead again. Sometimes like she asked me like, oh, this has come out well or not, or the movement was good or anything. So it all depends. Like you need to like learn the craft as a whole. You can't just be like, oh, I'll just learn about camera. I'll just place it. I'll shoot. No, it's not that. It's
So
a connected.
to be a director, he wants to become a director. So is it important to learn?
See, director should know everything. There's no. See, for me, I am very lucky that I got into things like say modeling. It was like a very like it's unproductive for me, but I feel like even that helped me in a way that I kind of understood like how an actor or a model thinks, or like how the makeup is done. Like what is a good makeup or what is a bad makeup. I went into this grooming and deportment program where I understood what is styling and then how the styling is done. And then I went into photography, I understood lighting. So every part of your life you will learn something or the other, you need to apply on things. And I have made like bird watching myself, like it's my own piece. So it's me and my writer Ritika Palvi like written this and then did it. So as a direct, like you need to like learn a lot of things, man. You can't just, there's no other go. Like you need to learn everything as a
I
director.
think as a director, they has to see the entire project beforehand, so they need to know cinematography.
It's literally there, baby. You need to know everything and you need to overlook everything. Sometimes some directors are good with some things. If you are not good with something, that's when you rely on your other HODs. When you hire your HODs, you need to like understand. Like Daria is very smart. Sometimes she just like completely relies on my eye for like clothes or something sometimes. And no, like Daria is good at everything. That's my that's my only worry. Like she's like literally everything she's good at. It's like to catch up to her knowledge, it's something, man.
Yeah, I have been following her work as well. So it is something which is
No, it's not just Daria, right? Like, see, honestly, like that makes you a good filmmaker, man. You see any good filmmakers in the world, they have been like you see Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan's famous quote is like he knows everything. He knows everything a bit so that he can irritate all the HODs. So he can irritate everyone in the other departments. So you know a little bit of everything. Yeah.
okay. So the next question is by Tulsi. I'm working on a project based on year 1887. I think the project is set in 1887. And my question here is, do I need to work with black and white option or as usual color option to indulge audience in that particular era?
See, it's again like when we are making any film, right? We are transporting our audience to this period to that period. So you need to actually come with like mix and match alternatives. You can't directly straight shoot with black and white and say, oh, later feel, oh, I need color. So I would say shoot with color, but then later come up with a grade or something that feels like that makes you feel, oh, you're much closer to that, and then see. And if nothing works out, then take it to black and white. But to be fair, I would say we are nostalgic to something. That's why a lot of people use black and white as a tool to like transport us to the past. But I would say you need to explore other options as well, like how Karthik Vijay, one of the best DOPs of our country, how he did for Manto. He used like a lot of browns, like in the color palette, he used a lot of like beige, earthy tones, so that he himself, like how he transported us to that period. It's quite commendable. Like for me, like to see Karthik do these things, it's quite.
Yeah, like because there was time when people used to shoot black and white for flashbacks.
Yeah.
Go see flashback.
We are very lucky with like these things. Like we can test all these things beforehand. It is not like film where you shoot this much of role you are test. So we have a lot of advantages with digital. So where you can actually like try and do different grades and see what works and what doesn't.
Okay, so that person has a follow-up question. I am planning for my first project as a director. So this is the 1887 same thing. This script has no dialogues and only based on emotions. So can you suggest any tips which I need to focus more on?
Great project, firstly. It's a great initiative, like great project. I would say spend some time, man. Like spend some time. I think as of now, I'm I'm very interested, like how maybe we'll have a talk, like ask her to contact me on Instagram and stuff, and we'll talk about it.
Great. So, Tulsi Pongarla, if you are listening, just contact Aditya like on his YouTube channel or DM on his Instagram so that he can explain you briefly more about
Because
that.
I also need to like visualize, go back and see like how that will work and stuff.
Okay. There's few people have asked, have you ever worked on a wedding cinematography or photography?
Yeah. Like there's not a single thing I haven't done. Like when I was in Delhi, I have. See, that's why I am thankful to my parents because they have seen me do everything. Like I've also done DJing in life. I have literally done like I haven't not done anything, like literally acting, cinematography, wedding, everything I haven't, like there's nothing I haven't done.
So if you like to share few tips on cinematography for wedding, how like.
See, like mostly my thing always come like I've done for friends, right? Like so mostly it's like for friends I've done. So it wasn't like as serious as how people are doing nowadays, and the people are like so creative about how they go about things. So I think one thing is like the kit I mentioned, like they need to have definitely kit lens. If they're in with Fuji, the lens system that they need to be very strong about, because especially with the 16mm f1.4 with the wide angle lens, and also they should definitely rely more on zooms because everything is so quick and fast. So they should definitely try R50 to 140 because that has image stabilization. At the same time, it has like a great range, especially for weddings, to be away from the people. Like you can't be like intrusive and just be like in front of the people all the time. So you need to like have like that kind of zoom range to be away, but at the same time be an onlooker. It's literally documentary, man. Documentary filmmaking is it's all like similar. So you need to like see how you like what's your language.
Great. Okay, so there's one question about showreel. Okay, so Rachit Sai has asked.
This I want to mention to people. Showreel. I have never made a showreel. Every single day, Dheer asks me to make a showreel. I'm like, I don't want to make showreel, man. Now I don't want, because they want to pitch for bigger ideas now, like Hollywood, like go beyond, right? Like I don't have a showreel. I don't think I'll have a showreel. Should I ask this question? Still are looking for showreel that I haven't done enough work. So I'm going to shoot more.
Should I ask this question? Move on.
Sorry?
Should I ask the showreel question or should we like go on to the next question?
Answered, I think I kind of understood. So you keep shooting, I think you kind of keep shooting and then you get a showreel, man. People will know your work.
Okay. So but, there's
a lot of people are making very interesting showreels. I just saw one of my like friends named Rajiv Malu. He made a really interesting showreel, and people are coming up with these creative ideas to make showreels. And also you can create, like right now you're in a lockdown, you can actually consider it as a film yourself, and then come up with a narrative with that, and use your footage and make a showreel.
Okay, so someone Roy George is asking, can I shoot a feature film on a Fujifilm X-T3 with the 1855 kit lens?
Yes. Only with one lens? Only with 1855?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And also the lens you have recommended, if the budget is the problem, XC35F2, you can definitely shoot. And yeah, man, more or less that's about how much we had for Sudeep, like for our Kia and Cosmos. So yeah.
Great. So someone it's a random this thing is so confused about direction or cinematography. I would, if I can suggest, is like do both, and whatever taste, if like whatever fits, whatever you enjoy the most, I think that should the path is.
Yeah. Like this is a world where niche doesn't mean that you need to only follow direction or you need to only do photography. Today, niche has broadened itself in the sense that I can be a photographer, I can be a director of photography, I can be direction. Everything comes into one page, but it doesn't have to be like so. That's why you can call it an umbrella of like filmmaking, or like you can call it like umbrella of like a visual medium art or something like that. Like whatever is comfortable for you, man, and whatever your mood is right now. Like there are times where I don't want to even touch my camera for film. I only want to shoot pictures. Like that. Like that's always like our mood, right? And when you have these things, like when you have other things to shift to, it'll always be good, man. It's like crop rotation. When you do like only one thing, your feed doesn't be that, it is not that productive. So I think you also had a question where you asked like how do you deal with creative blocks. Like this is how I do. Like creative blocks for me is when when I'm not when I'm really worried about bettering my work from previous to now. I am not worried about shooting cringe. I keep shooting cringe. Only thing is like my cringe now has become better than before. So that's the only thing. Now I don't even feel like, oh okay, what if I do like a bad work? I don't mind, man. I love doing bad work. Like I keep getting criticism for like one or the other videos. It doesn't matter because I want to shoot for myself. One day or the other, I'll actually have to shoot bad stuff. But it's fine.
Okay. So the local diarist is asking, why did you choose to go for a non-linear format in the bird watching video?
Why did I choose or why didn't I choose? Why did I choose?
Yeah? You choose to go for a non-linear format.
Why did, right? DID.
Yes.
No, so your thoughts right now are non-linear. I think that's what I and my writer we thought ki it's actually non-linear, right? Like honestly, the voiceover was like written by Ritika Pal. She's a great mind. She is also my actor in Kia and Cosmos. She played Kia. She's played Kia in our thing. Our thoughts literally are random. They don't have a linear thing. Oh, today my thought is only positive. It can never be like that. So it's non-linear, and that's how I chose that. And we knew from the word go that it had to be random and non-linear.
I think I also felt when I saw the video, it's like, why did he? But again, after the completion of the video, I understood that this is what you wanted to do on purpose. Okay. So the next, how do you is VV Lamb is asking Lambe? I'm sorry. So how do you? Yeah. So how do you plan for a shoot and cuts the scene and edit? So like how I think that is already pre-scripted, right? It's like from where to where you shoot and then cut.
It's called shot breakdown. You know exactly what shot is going to cut where, and it's a particular process you like kind of do before going into the shot at all, into the shoot at all.
Cool. Okay, so Sujay Mistry is asking, I'm shooting one behind the scene in Bollywood movie for the first time. What should I keep in mind?
Great question. 2 cameras for sure, because it's like behind the scenes are so demanding. It's like one of the toughest jobs you can ever do as a cinematographer or like a photographer if you're shooting photos as well. You need to definitely have 2 cameras and 2 lens pouches. That's how I was like gun master, ready for like one camera, another for another camera, and have 2 extra lenses when I need reach or when I want wide angle. But otherwise, you need to like choose your focal length, what you're good at or what you like, and in 2 different cameras, and then use that and use this.
I think because that happens on spontaneity and then you don't have a retake.
Yeah, you don't have any clue what is going to happen when. Yeah, so.
Yeah. Okay. So the next question is asked by Siddharth. Yes.
One more thing I want to add, like so many people don't see behind the scenes as an important job, or like, they don't see behind the scenes as an important job for themselves. This is where I like always take every small project as important as it is, because it is as important. Because when I was shooting Manto, I was creating my own world. Like for me, making of Manto was my film. Like for them, they had a choice to make a film. For you, you got a film to make for yourself. So that's where I think Nandita gave me full power. And then after she saw the pictures and all, she got the idea to publish a book and everything, and we published books.
So you were shooting only pictures for Manto, right? Behind the scene?
Both pictures and behind the scene video. Yeah.
I think that was a lot to take.
Yeah, I think it's great. It was a great experience.
I think that is one of the places where you can learn the most, because you have those senior actors, the best cinematographer, the best director, So I think you would have taken
This is a great place to learn. And a lot of people ask me like how to get into cinematography. This is one of the best ways to get into cinematography, where you can shoot, because every film production house is looking for a good behind the scene filmmaker. More than cinematographers, they're looking for behind the scene filmmaker. And that, if you do really well, I think that's a great step for getting into filmmaking.
Great. Yeah. So, okay, next question.
By itself, it's a great process, man. It's by itself it's a great art form.
Completely. I think you have huge amount of data also collected and to separate, and that's a huge process.
Don't shoot any 4K big codecs. Shoot something small. Shoot something in like 50 Mbps or something, because there'll be like tons and tons of footage. And make sure you take money for a lot of hard drives from the production.
Yes. Okay. So the next question is from Siddharth. Which software do you use for color grading?
I just answered. I'm actually like Namdev Baba I shot. I color graded in DaVinci Resolve, but I had to learn while I was doing. Like I was learning, doing.
Okay.
So it's kind of it's for color grading. I know DaVinci Resolve. Now I'm actually shifting my editing also to DaVinci Resolve. So yeah.
So you edited the video in Premiere Pro and then took the file to DaVinci, or?
Yes, because my editor shifted to Premiere Pro because of me. Because I was into Premiere Pro a lot, so it was quite difficult for him to do an FCP and come to Resolve. So then he shifted to Premiere Pro because of me, and then I go to Resolve.
So Mr. Siddharth, I think he answered your question that he would definitely choose DaVinci Resolve for color grading, and
it's just more convenient. One, it's just more complex. It's just more dynamic in terms of color grading, especially. But if you want to do basic color grading, or you have a grade in your mind already, what you can also do is you can create, like say LUTs, or that's what we do nowadays. Is like I take a screenshot of the shot, create the LUT or grading LUT on Resolve, and bring it to Premiere Pro, put it there, and I give them the numbers. That's all.
Okay. So I hope that answered the question. So we're taking next questions from Praveen Singh. What are your thoughts on feature films on exterior? I think we already answered this, that it's very good. And yeah, so the next follow-up question is, how do you convince producer or a buyer for Fujifilm cameras? Because again, it's for feature film and you're shooting with an X-T3 camera.
I think that's what I meant. Like when you shoot for yourself with these cameras, they kind of understand like what's the image quality that's coming out of these small cameras nowadays, and the kind of stuff you can do with these small cameras nowadays is as equal or like better in terms of motion and movement and everything. So kind of it's about time, man. Where you and some producers or some people are like literally particular about some things. There you need to or have to use cinema cameras. There's no other go. So yeah. Apart from that, everything else is like taken care of.
Great. So the next question is, I think we answered that question. Like, is it 1855 good for wedding videography? If it's good for feature film, I think it is good for your wedding cinema as well.
See, honestly, nowadays people are like so much into so they are like I said, it's also a norm now. It's become a fad that everybody talks about depth of field. Even Saurabh and you have become like too blurry in the background. But okay, I understand the subject separation is very important to create that cinematic language for the audience. But I also feel that creates a great barrier for you to like make image so important. The background, you'll take care of background. It'll teach you a lot of things, and I think one tool is more important than like just like visual appeal.
Yeah. So, but just to clarify, our blurring background is for whole other different reason.
I know, because now I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so I think there's two more questions which I'll take, and then we'll close the session with a video. So there's asking, like Tanvi photography is asking, like I have X-T3, 1024, 1655, 50 on 40. So और कौन सा block lens होना चाहिए? I think you have complete set.
No. She say like what are all the lens once again?
X-T3, 1024, 1655, 5140.
See, now her idea, like her biggest work now is to go to Lightroom, or like if she's a cinematographer, she needs to go and figure out what focal length she shot a lot, and then get the block lens of that particular one. Because for me, I understand what she's saying, because it's always great to have a block lens, because that limits you, and also it gives you a great horizon of like creative freedom, where it makes you move, it makes you feel like an artist. So I think I kind of understand and resonate with her. She needs to just figure out what she shoots a lot now, and she gets that particular focal length. I think mostly for her, 56 1.2 or like 35 2 is also 35 1.4 if she's so much into.
I think that's one of the greatest advice, because you see your past work and which focal length you shot more. That is what you're comfortable in. Great. So, okay, there's more people are asking questions now. I'll just take two more. Yeah, two is the last thing. Like, do you take gimbal for your behind the scene shooting?
No.
Right?
See, absolutely. This is where IBIS is so helpful. You need to like definitely have a camera. If it's photography, you're fine. But for video, IBIS or like lens stabilization is very important. You need to have a lens or like a camera stabilization for sure, or have a monopod for sure. Like, because back then I did not have IBIS or like any of that. I had to shoot with a camera which did not have anything. So I had to use monopods for sure everywhere. But yeah, monopods are definitely very helpful. But gimbal, I don't know. I'm not sure. If it's only cinematography and behind the scenes, monopod with a good ball head, video head would be a great idea. Yeah.
Cool. One last question for today is like, is there a platform to start learning your cinematography or this thing like you would suggest? If not, yeah.
YouTube, man. YouTube and YouTube, Fujifilm YouTube channel. Like, say, like, there are a lot, man. Now there are a lot of people. So I think also, like I said, Skillshare, and there are other platforms where you can go and learn.
Great. So we ended with to our brand promotion is that we are coming with a lot of session in our YouTube. There's next whole month will be completely training on one particular subject. So we'll be coming with a lot of mentors. We'll be training, and Aditya will also be joining on one particular topic next month. So I think it's a surprise for him. Anyway. So,
yeah, I didn't know this, but okay. But I just want to like thank all of them, man, for being there also.
So thank you so much, guys, for watching. So we'll be ending this session with a video, and I would like to mention that all the videos which was shot and shown on this channel, it's 90% shot on X-T3 and Fujifilm cameras.
Them just bird watching for 80%. Everything else that you showed is all shot on
Fujifilm cameras. So thank you so much, Aditya. Thank you, people who are watching, and thank you, Saurabh. Please.
Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot. You guys have always been so supportive. I did not know, like, just for doing what I do good, I'll get so much of people, like, good following, and like all these are like byproduct. Don't fall for these things. But I would say, like, if you're good at your work, everything will follow, man. And just like focus on what you like, and stop worrying about others, and don't compare yourself too much.
Yeah, great. Stay safe. Stay indoors. So we'll be playing with one video. So after that, the session is gonna end. Thank you so much, guys. Follow our Instagram, Facebook, and subscribe, and press that bell icon on YouTube channel. Thank you so much.
Bye bye. See you. Bye.
Yes.
इंडिया में जितने लोग उतने रंग, मगर फिर भी हम नहीं सुधरेंगे। हाँ? देखा है तुम्हें ताने मारते हुए, धुतकारते हुए तुम्हें, हाँ, रंग का मजाक उड़ाते हुए तुम्हें, हाँ, देखा है तुम्हें ताने मारते हुए, धुतकारते हुए तुम्हें, हाँ, रंग का मजाक उड़ाते हुए तुम्हें, हाँ। देख के
के लिए काली गोरी लड़की चलेगी, पर शादी करना है तो गोरी लड़की सही करेगा। बेटा तो सुन, तेरे अच्छे के लिए बोल रहे, तो तेरा बच्चा बड़ा होके तुझे गाली देगा। और अगर होगी गोरी तेरी सोसाइटी में भी तेरा भाव बढ़ जाएगा।
देख पुरानी गौर से सुन, मुझे गोरा बच्चा चाहिए, कान खोल के सुन। बेटा चाय ना पी, बच्चा काला हो जाएगा, इस दुनिया की भीड़ में अनजाना हो जाएगा। धूप में न जा, रंग मैला हो जाएगा, दादी की मेहनत का ठेंगा हो जाएगा।
देखा है तुम्हें ताने मारते हुए, धुतकारते हुए तुम्हें हम, रंग का मजाक उड़ाते हुए तुम्हें हम।
अरे यार देखो कौन यहाँ आ गया, सावला है रंग इसका, अंधेरा बचा गया। लाइट मुझे अब बढ़ाना पड़ेगा, मेकअप मैन को बोल के इसको गोरा करना पड़ेगा। फोटोशॉप में भी मेहनत करना पड़ेगा, तभी इसका फोटो मैगजीन में छपेगा।
जज ने भी बोला तेरे अंडर टैलेंट बहुत है, पर तेरे जैसों को हम देते नहीं स्लॉट है। कला जो भी हो तेरा रन तेरा लॉस है, जो यहाँ पे गोरा वही जाएगा टॉप पे। बस का नहीं कहीं और तू ध्यान दे, टैलेंट सोच छोड़ के लग जा तू किसी काम पे।
देखा है तुम्हें ताने मारते हुए, धुतकारते हुए तुम्हें हम, रंग का मजाक उड़ाते हुए